Hi, my name is Benjamin Plotkin, and I'm going to walk you through my SED 618 website, which is part of the overall master's program in educational technology. From my master's site, we can go to the educational multimedia page, and you can see here we have several assignments linked in alphabetical order. I'm going to walk through these in a relatively quick fashion. We'll start with the comics. We used an online free service called Toondoo to make some comics, and I chose to make mine about information technology, security stuff mostly. You can see you can choose 3-panel, 4-panel format, whatever you want pretty much, and make books of the comics. And it's all free and shareable, and it's a very handy way to communicate things visually. Another visual communications tool is Edpuzzle, which is a online service that allows you to take videos from YouTube, whether you made them yourself or whether you are borrowing somebody else's content, and to overlay audio annotations and quiz questions so that students can view your content and then answer questions. You can track how well they're doing. For example, I made a walkthrough of the campus here at CSUN, and you can see that these icons indicate where questions pop up for the student to test their knowledge of the video. The stats for teachers show up in this fashion. You can see who's watched the video and who hasn't, and their grade on the scores and when they last saw it and that kind of stuff. So it's really handy for teachers to make visual learning tools with. Another visual tool that we found pretty handy was Flash. Even though it's an outdated technology on the web these days, it's still really handy for making animations and animated GIFs that you can use on your website that don't require Flash to run in the background. We did morphing of our names and motion tweening and shape tweening, meaning you take a start and an end position and Flash animates the in-betweens for you. We combined all three of them together. And then we did a custom animation here. Some of us chose to do the extra credits. This is from the example of a tutorial I found online to make kind of a bouncing ball / spotlight effect. One of our earlier assignments was to use iMovie to put together videos with transitions and effects. And I did a walkthrough, as you saw earlier, on the Edpuzzle of the CSUN campus. And I also did a screen capture of the Desmos online graphing calculator. I did a little quick start video for that. That was pretty fun. This is a good way to use a free operating system tool to make instructional videos. As a way to introduce ourselves to our classmates and our teachers, we made some Google slide presentations about ourselves. It's a pretty short 2-slide presentation, just kind of speaking to who I am, and it was a pretty straightforward little example task, and it helped us understand better how to use Google tools. We had a group outside reading and write-up project, which was to describe what constitutes an action research paper in terms of its sections and best practices for writing and prosecuting the research behind one of these. And we, as a group, wrote about the parts of the paper, and then we each individually picked a paper that somebody else in academia had written and did a review. So you can see this is an embedded Google Slides doc, and we talked about the different parts of the action research paper. And then we did our own sections on action research papers that we reviewed, and here's mine, the recency effect on problem solving in interactive multimedia learning. I broke that down into a couple of slides, and we put it together as a group presentation. We had a fun session learning how to use tools in Photoshop to do quick selection and color changes and to layer things. I enjoyed being able to use the quick selection tool, which I hadn't used before, to quickly map out areas to change the colors of this apple and to create layered slices so that we could make the illusion of the apple having an orange core. The second example we worked on was taking some existing photos and layering them into this montage of New York. So we have a giant purple moon in the background, and I put in a self pick here and my artwork from the previous example here. And this was fun, and it really showed us the value and the ease of use, really, frankly, how easy Photoshop is to use these days to create visual content for educational or any purpose. As part of the educational technology program, we're going to need to come up with an action research paper and research activity ourselves. So we were asked to write a proposal paper, a short paper consisting of an introduction, a literature review, and a methodology proposal. And with any luck, our initial proposals will become the actual projects that we do for our master's degrees. I'm looking at assessing the impact of fractal graphical software on students' ability to understand Newton's method of finding solutions to nonlinear equations. And with any luck, this will become my action research project, and it will help provide information about how fractal software might help students learn more about math. Now, being able to capture images from your screen is very important for creating multimedia for educational purposes. One of the things we did was a screen capture where we made a Google document consisting of instructions like a quick start guide and screen captures to help walk somebody through a process or a software. So I made one about the Desmos online graphing calculator, and I basically just took screenshots and wrote instructional steps and collated it into a helpful document that shows a first-time user how to get into Desmos and graph functions. Very handy, and like pretty much all of the Google software available online, free. Sometimes you need to actually record moving images off of your screen for training or explanatory purposes. So we also learned how to use QuickTime to capture screen recording, just like I'm recording the screen now in this video. We did this as an earlier assignment, and as you can see here, I've got a video walkthrough of using the Desmos online calculator. And once again, a freely available tool both in OS X and Windows, really can help you improve your informational artifacts. Video is very compelling, and it packs a lot of information into a very small amount of time. So it's great to have these tools at hand, freely available in operating systems. One of our later assignments was to write about student learning outcomes. We took one of the artifacts from our coursework and paired it with one of 5 student learning outcomes. Here on this page, you can see I've got my slide presentation that I did as a group about action research papers, and I paired that with the student learning outcome number 1, reflective practice. And so below is my write-up here embedded as a document explaining what I chose and why I chose it, and reflecting on how this applies to me in my journey of learning about pedagogy and about educational technology in general. So this was a great way for me to get familiar with the concept of the student learning outcome and how it applies to me even as a non-educator. That's pretty much all the assignments. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed yourself.